Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Okay, it's working in. Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. And boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So, big fight coming up tomorrow. David Benavidez gets in there with David Lemieux. And a lot of people are writing Lemieux off, and I'm saying I don't think we should do that because David Lemieux, although he's not a spring chicken like David Benavidez, Lemieux can crack. And people, if you don't think so, well then you explain to me a record of 43 wins, 36 of those by knockout. You understand? You don't have a 76, 77% KO ratio if you can't crack. Now, true indeed, depends on the opponent in front of you. David Lemieux has struggled with some of the elites. You saw what happened with him and Golovkin, and it kind of is what it is. But as he's going in with David Benavidez, and a lot of people think Benavidez will beat Canelo. A lot of people think David Benavidez will beat Charlo. They think David Benavidez is the king up there at super middleweight, 168 pounds. I mean, I'm not so sure about that, because I think a lot of people have forgotten about Ronald Gavril. And in that fight, Benavidez, he barely got touched, and he went down. And I honestly feel, and he went down with a left hook. And the signature punch, the money punch from David Lemieux, is that left hook. And I'm going to tell you right now, if he catches David Benavidez with that left hook, it's lights out. And the thing is this, it's not even if, it's when he catches him. I'm going to go for the upset tomorrow. I really am. I'm going for the upset. And people are like, how can you go for the upset? Look, I'm going to tell you how, okay? First, let's break a few things down, all right? Now, a lot of things are playing to David. There's a couple things playing to David Benavidez's favor, but there's some things that's not really playing to his favor, okay? So the first thing is, David Lemieux, he turned pro in April of 2007. So he's been fighting for quite a long time, okay? 15 years as a pro. The man has 46 fights. The man, 43 fights. The man, 43 wins anyway. He's been fighting for a while. He has some wear and tear. He's been through a couple of tough fights. He's come back, got on a winning streak, lost a fight, back on a winning streak. I think right now he's on a 5-fight winning streak. Okay? And that's outstanding. He has all the confidence in the world coming into this fight with David Benavidez. And he should. But when you just look at David Benavidez being younger, not as much wear and tear, although Benavidez has been sparring and boxing a long time. You know, you gotta kind of want to favor Benavidez, but when you look at the issue with Benavidez is this, right? Benavidez will stand square and hands down by his side. Now, Benavidez has fast hands, he has power. But you see Lemieux's not standing there with his hands down by his side. Lemieux's sitting there and he's ready to fire. And when you come in close to Lemieux, Lemieux is letting shots off. And he's fast and he's powerful. And those shots that come, you don't even see it. Lemieux will dip and make you almost think he's coming to the body, and he'll come over the top and clip you. David Lemieux hits super hard with those hands. That man's like it's like a Canadian cannon, man. And David Benavidez is a sitting duck for that. Now you say, oh, well, David Benavidez is much taller than him. Okay? Yeah, he is. But there's a couple of things y'all need to understand. First, David Benavidez turned pro in 2013, so he turned pro about 6 years after him. So younger again. David Benavidez is 25 wins, 22 of those by knockout. Okay? So his knockout percentage is 88%. Really high. But you got to look at the level of opposition. Not only for Lemieux, but also for David Benavidez. He really hasn't clipped any elite fighters. Talk about Jalen Love. Was Jalen Love elite? Okay, so we just gotta be real when we're talking about David Benavidez and the guys he's fought. You know, Kyron Davis, Ronald Ellis, Alexis Angulo, Anthony Durrell, Jalen Love, and when he got into Ronald Gavril, he almost got knocked out. So when you listen to those names, I mean, David Lemieux is really the standout name. Anthony Durrell is a big name, and he's actually kind of breathed life back into his career. But when you think about David Benavidez, again, he doesn't really have a really signature name on his record. Outstanding fighter. But he has a tendency to leave those hands down. Now, this is why I say his height is not going to really benefit him, because he's 6 feet tall, and what's his name? Lemieux is 5'9", almost 5'10", so a difference of a couple inches, okay? But this is the problem. When it comes to reach, right? David Benavidez' reach is 74 inches, and Lemieux is 70 inches. So a 4-inch difference in reach, which Benavidez doesn't box long. He's not a guy sitting on the outside sticking his jab. He'll stand, he's super flat-footed, standing straight up with his chin in the air and getting his shots off. He has fast hands, and he has some power. But it's not like he can stay in the middle of the ring and put on a masterclass and box his way to a decision. David Benavidez will sit there. It's almost like that guy Fendor, the towering inferno, doesn't really try to use his height and reach advantage to win fights. He'll go in there and fight small. And I think with David Benavidez, he's going to do that because that's his style. And when he gets in there fighting small with that chin in the air, if David Lemieux touches him, which he's going to touch him, it's lights out for David Benavidez. People, I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you right now, I don't think David Benavidez is just going to get in there and Jalen Love David Lemieux. I just don't see that happening. Nobody had just gone in there and Jalen Love David Lemieux. And even with Triple G, it was more like just a beatdown, you know. And yeah, nobody really clipped that man like that. Let's take a look, right? Because David Lemieux deserves to have a little bit of respect on his name. So we know that he's fought some guys, names you probably wouldn't know, on his way to getting to his 5-fight winning streak. But he got in there and he lost to Billy Joe Saunders, which was a pretty good fight. Billy Joe Saunders is a boxer, so he lost by unanimous decision. Got in there with Curtis Stevens. If you guys didn't see that fight, you need to watch that fight. It only went 3 rounds. Look at that knockout. Some people say Curtis Stevens, in that knockout, he lost his pulse. People say he died. That's how long that man was down, and that's how bad that knockout was. And you look at, let me see, who else did he come in here, man, and just get busy with? Almost all his fights are damn knockouts, man. He got in there with Golovkin, got KO'd in 8. So he went 8 rounds with Golovkin. Golovkin in his prime. We're talking about a 2015 Golovkin. So when you just look at the fact that this man has 36 knockouts, nobody's really shutting him down. No one's coming in there and just totally discouraging him. How can you just assume that this is a no-brainer that David Benavidez beats him? You need to look at that fight where he fought Gavril and look at how he got careless. He always, in every fight, comes with his hands down. It's not that he has one hand up, the other one out. His hands are down by his waist. And he throws shots from his waist. His whole upper body all the way up to his damn head is fully exposed. It's complete madness. And I am really, and it's so unfortunate because the fight's taking place in David's hometown of Phoenix, Arizona. I really feel that David Lemieux is going to knock him out. Now, what can David Benavidez do to win this fight? Well, first of all, there is a bit of a reach advantage. You know what? I think these fighters need to start, just winning, okay? If David Benavidez wants to go on to fight Charlo, if he wants to get a shot at Canelo, right? You can't come in here with David Lemieux, and even if he wins by decision, you can't make it close, okay? David Lemieux is supposed to be this old fighting cock that doesn't have much life. His life expectancy He's towards the end of his life expectancy. And then you got the young stud, David Benavidez, who's supposed to be able to come out here and clip this guy no problem and go on to bigger and better things. But the young stud is a little too cocky in his fighting style and doesn't respect the old rooster. And the old rooster, I am telling you, he has enough left in that damn left hand, that left hook, to get David Benavidez out of there. I'm going to go for the upset on this one. I am. David Lemieux has his IQ is amazing. He has a way where he hides his shots. He doesn't waste shots. He's not throwing shots from outside of his range. You throw, he counters. He'll dip inside and come up. When he comes up, he's explosive when he lets his hands go. And he's going to watch. And I'm telling you right now, Benavidez is going to keep his hands down. He's done it in every fight. There's a pattern there. He can come out the first couple of rounds and try to keep his high guard up, try to fight behind that. But at some point, those hands are going to come down. This guy, David Benavidez, right? We can make refinements, but you're just not going to go and change. David Benavidez has had 25 fights. He's not going to come down his 26th fight and totally overhaul his fighting style. He is what he is at this time. And he's talking about he's not looking past David Lemieux. He's looking past David Lemieux. And it's just not going to work to his advantage. You listen to him talking in interviews, talking about Charlo, talking about Canelo. He's not even thinking about fighting, what's his name? Anthony Durrell, because he already beat him. Jacobs will be a good fight, but Jacobs really, when it comes to the ranking stack, Jacobs really isn't in the top 10 anymore. So when you go and you look at super middleweights, right? Everybody wants to get the payday against Canelo Alvarez. So when you start looking at the breakdown, Benavidez is ranked fairly high, number 1 or 2 in most of the sanctioning bodies. Caleb Plant is there. You got Saunders. He already fought Durrell, Ryder, and Lemieux. He's fighting Lemieux. Okay, so this right here is for the Ring Magazine rankings, and David Benavidez is ranked number 1. Lemieux is number 6. But in between him and Lemieux is Plant, Saunders, Durrell, and Ryder. He already fought Durrell, and Saunders. Who knows what's going to go on with his career? You come down and look at the WBO's ranking for super middleweight. You have Parker as number 1, and you have Benavidez as number 2, Lemieux at number 3. So you can understand why the fight was made, because these are 2 of the top guys with big names. Who the hell knows who Parker is fighting out of the UK? Most people don't know who that is. So why would they make that fight? Berlanga is ranked at number 6, but he still has some work to do before he gets a big fight. Daniel Jacobs, when it comes to the WBO, he's ranked at number 10. And he just took a loss recently, so I think it was against Ryder. So Daniel Jacobs is not in the mix. Still a big name, though. Then you got the IBF. They don't have any of this stuff together. They got Jacobs ranked at number 12, and they don't have Lemieux or David Benavidez ranked in the top 10. So that's crazy to me that they have Daniel Jacobs ranked at 12, but don't even have David Lemieux or David Benavidez in the top 15. You look what the WBC has. Benavidez number 1, Lemieux number 2. Again, justifies why we're having a fight. Because, these sanctioning bodies hopefully will get on the same page and start having common mandatories. And even their rankings should be pretty much the same. Don't know why they're all over the place. But then the names that keep popping up, even for the WBC, you got Plant at number 4, Durrell at number 6, Ryder, Jacobs at number 8, Hart, and Shishkin. And the WBA, you got David Morrell there, who's a WBA World Super Middleweight champion with 6-0. But again, Ryder at number 3, Plant at number 4, and they don't even have. See, this is what's crazy. They don't even have Benavidez or Lemieux ranked at all when it comes to the WBA. So Lemieux is probably the best choice for him right now. You can't go fight Berlanga. Berlanga's not really there. You can't fight Jacobs. You got Ryder, you got some of these other guys, but at the end of the day, Lemieux is he's a live dog in this fight, man. But David Benavidez, he's good. He likes to throw shot to the body, then come upstairs. But the thing is, when he does it, he stands tall. He'll just dip to the side. His hands are down by his waist, too. He'll dip to the side, throw to the waist, and come back up to the head. Or throw to the waist, come back up to the head, then shoot the uppercut, and may throw a combination out of it. But he just can't afford to throw shots from the waist. He just can't afford to do that against David Lemieux. And for those of you who think David Lemieux is washed up, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. When you can hit like that, and he's not coming here to lay down just for a last payday. He knows if he can clip David Benavidez, his next fight, and I will tell you this right now, right? If he clips David Benavidez, Lemieux, Canelo is going to fight David Lemieux. I bet, I'm willing, I just started this page like 2 months ago. I don't bet, I don't gamble, I don't drink, I don't smoke. Not my thing. But I would bet $50 if Lemieux beats David Benavidez. I bet $50 that Canelo would fight him. I bet you this. Let me see. Canelo, you gotta see about the rematch with Bivol, right? And then maybe fight a fighter in the UK. But Canelo does what he wants. I can see Canelo, if not this, figure out what he can do with Bivol, but then the fight after that, I can see him kind of superseding that fight in the UK and figuring something out with David Lemieux. If not, definitely the fight after the UK fight. So it'll be the rematch with Bivol, UK fight, then Lemieux. I am very confident of that. Say what you want. Canelo is an amazing fighter, but Canelo is all about the cherry pick. And I can see him going for that. I really can. And he would have every right to, because because the fight they're saying that Canelo should make is against Benavidez, right? If Benavidez gets clipped by Lemieux, then why shouldn't Canelo go fight Lemieux? Lemieux beat the man. Here's what it is, right? Or Lemieux should be going up against Charlo. And then now you have, or David Benavidez, if he loses, that's the fight for him and Caleb Plant to make now. They both took losses. So that's what I think is going to happen. So I've talked my way into concluding this video. What's going to happen this Saturday? Lemieux, this is my prediction. You may think I'm wrong. But I think the old cock, the old rooster, still has enough left in him. And the only reason I'm giving him a chance to win is because Benavidez keeps his hands down, and you can't do that with a guy who hits as hard as David Lemieux. And he got clipped by Gavril, and Gavril's not even a puncher. And he just stood there with his hands down. He does it in every fight. He gets comfortable. He's going to get comfortable with Lemieux because it's a pattern, it's a behavior. He's going to get clipped. After that, he's going to have a loss. Him and Charlo, or him and Caleb Plant are going to have to figure it out. Probably him and Caleb Plant. Now, Charlo's still undefeated, and Lemieux. It'll either be Lemieux and Charlo or Lemieux and Canelo. We all know the direction Lemieux's going to go. If Charlo presses him for the fight, he's going to entertain it. But if Canelo comes down and says, I want to fight him, we all know where anybody would go. Go after the money. Go after the Canelo. But that's my prediction. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And David Benavidez is a great fighter, man. He could definitely get in there and get his shots up because his hands are quick, they're short, they're compact, and he obviously has heavy hands. And if Lemieux is sitting there not moving his head and is trying to somehow get his way in, he can get caught with something and go down early in the fight. But I just think the reach difference isn't that much, and Lemieux's not coming to lay down. And after those first 3 rounds, if it goes that long, we're going to know what's going on in there. But I feel Lemieux is going to knock David Benavidez. I think he's going to knock him out. Because I think Benavidez is going to stay in there too long with his hands down. He may even have David Lemieux hurt at the time and be walking in like he always does, trying to get him out of there, and Benavidez just lets go one of those Canadian bombs. And then we have something else to talk about. But anyway, man, like and subscribe. I really appreciate the support. Y'all keep safe. I'm looking forward to the fight tomorrow. And as always, man, shout out to the veterans and everyone else. I'm in the breeze.